What's up everyone, Alan Morrow here and welcome to this video. Today I want to talk to you about two sections of a track that I start my tracks with, and I found it really sort of helps me keep the process going when it comes to creating music, and it really helps me in terms of not getting stuck further along the line. So before we get into the video, if you'd like to hit that subscribe and notification bell, if you'd like to see more videos like this coming, I do them now roughly one a week. So yeah, if you'd like to support the channel, that'd be great. And also another way that you could possibly support the channel is by going to alanmorrowstudios.com. There is plenty of in-depth tutorials there, sound banks, templates, and other production courses. A good few sort of start to finish courses in there now, over about 21 hours in each, I think, roughly 17 to 21 hours in each course. Covering a full track from start to finish. So if you are struggling with your productions and would love a real in-depth insight into how I make my tracks, then be sure to head over to alanmorrowstudios.com to check them out. Okay, so when it comes to creating a track, a lot of clients that I have can kind of struggle. They'll start to create some elements, they'll carry on making the track, and then they'll get kind of stuck. Now, when I come to create a track, two things that really help me is I either start with my melody and breakdown first, or my kick and bass line first. And if I do one of them first, I'll then do the other one next. And the reason why I do that is, let's say for example, I start with my melody and breakdown. I then have the theme of the track and where the track's obviously going. And when I build that, I then have the progression for the actual track itself. So let's say for example I write it in A minor, I've got my progression, I don't know, A, F, C, D, whatever, just as an example. If I've then got that written down and drafted to around like 70%, just pick some sort of random sounds to it, not trying to perfect it, just pick a pluck to the sound, pick a lead sound, pick some pads, sub pad, that and that. Once I've then done that to like 70%, I can flip to my kick and bass. Now, when it comes to choosing the root note of my kick and bass, let's say, for example, my melody has been written in A minor, and I've kind of written my melody in that. I like it in that. But then when I come to do my kick and bass, I realize that, for example, my bass, the bass sounds that I really actually like, the foundations of the track actually sound better in G, for example. That's where I want my root note. What I can then do is I can go and test my melody, because I've not given too much time to it, and all the progression and the pads and all that sort of stuff, and bring it down a couple of semitones to match the root note of my actual intro. And that way then, whilst I've done that, I can listen to the melody and breakdown and go, okay, do I like it in this key, or do I really like this melody and breakdown in A? That way then, or starting off in A minor, do I really like it in that? Do I have to then go maybe change the bass to sort of suit a bass line to suit that A? The other thing that I can then do, obviously with having these two side by side, the melody and breakdown, the kick and bass, is, let's say for example I'm happy with the A in the bass note as well as the melody and breakdown. I can then go and test the bass line that I'm wanting to commit to with the progression that I've done for my melody. Therefore, as you've probably all come into this situation before, certain bass lines and stuff can drastically deteriorate depending on what sort of key changes they're doing. So before I go and commit to a bass line, I can then quickly go and test my progression and stuff like that. Is this bass line going to cause me issues, or am I going to have to do a lot of fixing later on, and all these sorts of things to sort of help me sort of determine. And having those two things, which I personally feel are the most important parts of any trance track anyways, the melody and breakdown and the kick and bass, and just starting off with them two, so you can then test those two areas with each other before you go ahead and commit to these sounds and make a full track. The other area that I find really useful when I've done this is in the way that I can then, for example, test counterplucks and stuff with my melody and my breakdown, but then also go and test them with my kick and bass as well, to sort of see if I can possibly use them in two certain areas, lay them up over the top of each other, and get them to sort of harmonize with each other as well in that area. So just something to think about when it comes to obviously doing your tracks. What I find myself doing more and more is kind of drafting the sounds in these areas so I can test first before I commit to anything. And the other thing as well, if you've got your melody and breakdown there, and you've got your kick and bass, you can then quickly throw them all together, throw in some crashes and stuff like that to have a quick sort of simulation of how the actual drop is going to sound with that kick and bass and that melody. And then from there, you can kind of go, you know, does this have potential and stuff like that. So yeah, as I say, guys, if that is something you do struggle with, maybe try changing up the way you're starting your tracks, and see if you can possibly, you know, find a way out of that to sort of help you with the tips that I've given you today. So yeah, as I say, guys, if you haven't also subscribed to the AM Studios Trance Production community, you can do that above. I'll leave a link up there, and basically you will receive free tips and tricks exclusively to your inbox. Excuse me, your email inbox, completely free, and as I say, free tips and stuff. So there you go. Okay, guys, well, thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.